Hello, Thunderbirds. Welcome back to the Art Room with Mr. Rick. Today we're going to be diving deep into color theory. So to do that, we're going to need our handy dandy color wheel. Let's go over the basics real quick. First off, the primary colors we've gone over this year after year are, that's right, yellow, red, and blue. Yellow, red, and blue. If you mix the primary colors together, you get the secondary colors, and the secondary colors are between the primary colors that make them on the color wheel. So yellow and blue make green. So green is right in the middle of blue and yellow. Red and yellow make orange, and red and blue make violet, otherwise known as purple. So we've gone over that for several years. Now we're going to dig a little bit deeper. The next level down, beyond secondary colors, is tertiary colors. You might also call them intermediate colors. Both are used. So if you take primary yellow and mix it with secondary green, you get yellow green. So you're mixing a primary with a secondary to get an intermediate color, which is yellow green. Same thing if you mix green and blue, you get blue green, otherwise known as teal, my favorite color. That is an intermediate or tertiary color. So that is how you get to the next step down. You go primary colors, secondary colors, and then intermediate or tertiary. So we're going to be mixing colors today using tempera cakes. Just a reminder, the tempera cakes are dried cake-shaped discs of paint. And to get paint on your paintbrush, you have to dip your paintbrush into water and rub it on the paint cake, and then you will load your paintbrush with paint. Before you get another color, you must rinse out your paintbrush, otherwise you will mix up all your paints. Friends at Clear Connection Friends, you might have watercolors. This works very similar. You have to get that paintbrush wet, rub it over the circle of color that you want, and you will load your paintbrush with watercolors. It works the same way. And so now I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing today. We're going to fill our page full of shapes because we're going to be using those shapes to color different colors. We just looked at an artwork by Wassily Kandinsky where he made art out of just line shapes and colors. So we're going to be doing that today, but our focus is on mixing colors. So here's what you need to do to be successful today. I want you to mix each of the primary colors to make a secondary color. I want you to make orange, green, and purple. And then I want you to mix a secondary color with a primary color to make a tertiary color. So all that means is first you've got to mix the secondary color. So let's say you've got three shapes that are green, purple, and orange. Then you'll have another shape, you'll make that one orange, and then after you mix it to be orange, you'll add a little bit more yellow or red to make a tertiary color. So if you have a reddish orange, that's tertiary. If you have a yellowish orange, also tertiary. I'm throwing a lot of stuff at you today, but it's because we can all do it in one day because we're color mixing today. So let's get started. To get started, we need to first get a pencil and draw a bunch of different lines and shapes all over our paper. So at first, I like to think of this with the secondary colors being the main thing we're doing. The very basic thing you need to do is to mix those secondary colors. So we're going to start with 3 basic shapes somewhere in the middle of your paper. Nice and big. If you make them very small, they're going to be hard to control your paint in. So I'm just going to pick 3 basic shapes. Do a triangle, a rectangle, and a circle. And so those are going to be my secondary colors. And then I'm going to add some other colors off to the side so I have somewhere to mix some tertiary colors. And I like overlapping shapes. I think it makes everything look really interesting. This one's going to go behind several shapes. I like that. That's cool. And then maybe some other circles over here. Maybe the circles get smaller. That could be cool. And then another triangle over here. And then I'm going to start mixing the colors, maybe one more down here. repeating shapes look good in abstract art. So I think that will work. That will give me some interesting things to color with. All right, so now I'm going to color very quickly, and you'll get to see me mixing the colors as I go. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you make an abstract artwork out of primary colors, secondary colors, and tertiary colors. I did mention earlier that we were going to talk about tints and shades, which is a tint is when you add white to a color to make it lighter, and a shade is when you add black to a color to make it darker. But once I got to painting this, it was like we've got enough to worry about with just mixing the other colors. So we'll actually deal with tints and shades on another day, but now you know what those are. One other thing I want to say is after your painting is dry, you can either paint black lines around all your shapes, or go over it with Sharpie, and that looks really nice. Kind of gives a nice finished quality, which I will do once my example is dry. And by the way, the background, I mixed black and white to give it a nice neutral colored gray background. That way our shapes and colors will really pop out. So that's what we're doing. Have fun exploring color and painting with primary colors to make secondary and tertiary colors. Clear Connections kids, don't forget to take a picture of your finished and dried painting and add it to that link under this video. All right, Thunderbirds, go make some paints.